another episode of Filipino Hawaii, and my name is Ilona O'Brien. Joining me today is another beautiful Filipina, Claire Bajo, and our special guest for today is Dr. Dominador Genio.
Yes.
He's a general practitioner, and he's going to tell us all about himself, of course. He's the star of today's show, and tell us about yourself. Dr. Genio.
I was born in the Philippines, and after graduation from med school, I migrated here in the States in 1981. So I've been in the States for about 32 years. So I've been, I moved to Hawaii in 2002, and I've been practicing since 1981
Yeah.
in the mainland. So
Okay.
I had my training in Mount Sinai, Chicago, and practiced a little bit in Virginia, and moved to California and then Hawaii.
Hawaii. And then why Hawaii?
I've always wanted to come in Hawaii because when I attended my first medical convention, it was in Kona. So that was and I was really impressed with Kona, and I said, if I want to move, really, I'd like to be in Kona. So.
And okay, so what makes you like Kona? If
Well,
you want to share that.
The first thing that impressed me is the closeness to the ocean.
Yeah.
And the people. I've been in California for so long in the mainland, and then Chicago. I noted the difference between mainland people and Hawaiian people, and I like it.
You found your place.
I found my place, so I said I'm going to go back here and practice it. So, yeah, I found my place here, and I think a lot of people say that the doctors are living in Hawaii. I'm one of those people who will stay
coming,
here.
yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Who will stay for good. So.
And that's good. And then, if you feel like this is home, however many doctors that you see that were like, having exodus, to the mainland, you feel like, okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
Well, there's so many reasons. Honestly, the pay for the doctors is much lower here in Hawaii than in the mainland.
Through Blue Cross Blue Shield?
Yes,
Or?
and most of the people the doctors that come here are young people, and they have children, and they're not happy with the school, I think. So that's one of the reasons why they want to move back to the mainland. So, and those are the things that I knew, or reasons about moving back to the mainland. And of course, I guess they have to call the island fever.
Is that what it is?
Well, that's really nice. That makes Alan very lucky to have you because, you're the general practitioner. You could pretty much, heal everybody here. I don't know if that's the right word, heal, but I wanted to ask you, we are all kababayans here, and you are very active with the Filipino organization, and I know that you formed this organization, and would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, I was the president for a long time of the Filipino organization of Kona, and at the time we were active in all the community events, Kamehameha Day, July 4th, so many activities that we participated were before they were not participating. So I'm proud of what we accomplished during that time. And one of the most memorable event that the Filipino Organization of Kona is we participated. We were the recipient of the county benefits to stage a big 100 years of Filipinos in Hawaii. So
Wow.
we form it. We have guests from other states, and we have given a fund from the Hawaii County to spend for the So we have lots of activities, cultural show, dinner shows, and speakers from all over there. And the commitment of the county was very, very.
That's
full.
wonderful. So they're in support of
They were in support of that.
Filipino community. And when we talk about Filipino, is it, I mean, there's so much mixture, so it's just anyone that embraces a Filipino?
And friends of Filipinos and supporters of Filipinos. Yeah. And during that time also, that's where I found a lot of things that I didn't know before about the Filipinos in Hawaii, how they suffered when they were here, discriminated against other Asians, and so I cannot feel that we owe to them that we celebrate the 100 years that they were a part of Hawaii and contributed to everything that's in here. So,
I never heard that story.
Yeah, is it like some kind of like a growing sentiment still, or was that like when you were just that the Filipinos feel that we're a little bit inferior from the other Asians? It's,
that's what I heard, even in housing during the time, because I think the Chinese and Japanese were already here before we came, so they have kind of a
Domination.
Yeah, and so when the Filipinos were here, they first of all, the recruits from the Philippines, they made it sure that they're all illiterate, yes, and have not had any school, so that they can do, and those were the original, and then they grow up.
Sugar plantation workers.
Yes,
Well, mostly, yeah.
Mostly, and those are the facts that I never knew, that the first Filipinos over here were recruited because they are single, they're all men, and they have no education, and so. But look at what the
I never heard that story.
Yes, it is.
I always remembered Filipinos as the really gotta watch out for them, because they knew how to fight chicken. They knew how to survive. They will take care of their own. And even though I didn't come from the Filipino background per se, I'm very, Caucasian inside. I never heard that story, so thank you for sharing that.
Oh, that's
Well,
really.
it helps to understand what went on and all that, but then
Yes.
I
The
think,
reason why they were upset or that they learned to survive was
survive.
because they were
Yeah.
outside of the
And
circle.
that's this Filipino spirit to fight for,
Yeah,
and so there was really a big transition from the lowest level now. Look at what we have. A governor was elected, was a Filipino governor, senators, and we've come a long way. So
Oh, and beautiful people.
where are you originally from, the Philippines again?
I'm from Bicol.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I was going to say, with your 32 years in the United States, okay, because I was just going to, I think we have a lot of Ilocanos here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why the late President Marcos was,
Chose to come here. Yes.
here and all that. But you know what, going back to that, how the Filipinos were feeling that, okay, this is, I think, our destiny, this is how it's supposed to be, we're going to accept it type of thing. I know that nowadays that's a no-no. I mean, we're all confident now, more like going out there and really be, like more than jack of all trades type of thing. And I mean, look at you. I mean, just with your last name Genio, it's supposed to mean like what, genius? Yeah, so they should actually watch out for you. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, actually we've come a long way from the lowly positions that the Filipinos. That's why when I read about the hardships that they have encountered, it's like, I would say it's like the blacks during that, they were third-class citizens, so they were, and look, the same thing that happens now. We have a black president, and so, and I think those times the Filipinos were able to strengthen their will to survive, to do better, and now we're here.
And I really, really believe that. And then I think most Asians are like that. And then I think also mostly Filipinos that, we are bounded by the family connection. It's just part of their motivation probably when they were just starting is, they're going to take all the pains and sufferings because they wanted to support their family back home. And
You're
even
right.
before that,
You're very
and
right,
history
yeah.
is just repeating itself, and then that helps us Filipinos to keep on striving and be successful because we
you're
just
absolutely
not
right.
thinking of ourselves, but we have to think of our family, and it's a sacrifice too. You're proud to be a Filipino,
Oh, yeah.
and you wanted to unite the Filipinos. So I mean,
Yes, you're absolutely right, because now, as I've said before, the Filipinos have made their mark here in Hawaii, and the
we are
government.
now the biggest.
The biggest.
Yeah, the
Yes,
biggest.
and I'm so proud that even
population,
even the government of Hawaii have recognized the Filipino contribution to the states, and not only that, even in the mainland. So I'm happy about that.
I grew up in Oahu, and I remember either the mayor or the governor coming to the church. My family goes to the Apostolic Faith Church right there in Kalihi, and I remember the political backing that the Filipinos had in the community, and so I just I understand that. But I grew up with the mixture of Filipinos within multiple cultures, and I have to say that out of my alma mater, that they went on to be chemists, and her sister teaches at Punahou School, and so I saw the beautiful side of the Filipino blend. It was because everyone was a mixture in my generation, so I saw another side. So maybe you feel that when you come here, that there is love, and it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're Filipino.
Yeah.
One of the, I think, the great trait or nature of the Filipinos is their love for family. And you can always tell a Filipino when you go to their house, they're all there. They live in the same house, both here in Hawaii and in the Philippines, and even in the mainland. And so they support each other. When one graduates from they help their mom and dad if they don't have the capability to send them to school. They help. Everybody helps, and that's one thing that a trait of the Filipino that is very, very admirable, and they have not forgotten that the family comes first. And talking about that, sending money to the Philippines. When I was in training in Chicago, one of the doctor has asked me and said, "Why do you guys always send money to the Philippines? Why don't you keep it?" And he said that I have Filipino nurses. They stay in 10 of them stay in one house so that they can save money and send to the Philippines. And I said, well, that's one of the quality of the Filipino, that they will never forget whether they're anywhere in the world, they will try to help their family. And that's another thing that you should admire about them. They would rather sacrifice, but they would help their family.
So is that because it's hard for them in the Philippines?
Partly, yes, but I think it's ingrown. Even Filipinos are well off. they try to help their families no matter what.
But you know, Dr. Genio, the only thing that I'm kind of like hoping that would change in that whole scenario is for the family in the Philippines who our immigrants and our Filipino workers here in the United States or any other countries. I mean, it's for them to kind of like appreciate that support in a way that they would start like using that money for like capital or seed money for like a good cottage industry or some kind of like, you know, that would really um, get the economy going there in that way. Because what's going on is, you know, I'm not opposed to the situation that, you know, let's not support our family back in the Philippines. But I'm pretty sure some of our clients will also agree that sometimes, you know, the saying that if you wanted to give somebody a fish, it's actually better to teach them how to fish.
Yes.
So, I just kind of like, you know, hoping that there's some kind of a program or some kind of a like a inspirational movement that would say, you know, you cannot always depend on people, you know, like sending you money or whatever.
Well, I know that the Filipino association that you're involved with, they give out scholarships, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, relating to that, I one and it's one of the best thing about this sending money to the families in the Philippines is they use the money to educate their other siblings or their children, and that when they become professional, they contribute to the community. If they finish business, they put up their business. So that's kind of, it's not like we send money to them and use them for, you know, not what we call,
Not just to survive,
not
but
just to
to
survive,
prosper.
but to prosper. They want to get out of poverty, and one of the best way is to them, and I think it's true, is education. So they channel all their savings to educate their children, and you know, and the families.
And I believe in that. I think that Filipinos are like, if you put in your resume out there and you would see, oh, you finished college and all that, and most of the citizens of the United States are, you know, probably with the percentage that you would see, not everybody, you know, have the motivation or the resources to go to college, and that's very admirable with the Filipinos, because if you haven't had your college education, your life is not complete. So that's a good thing. What I was just hoping though is just like education is really important. When one of you were supporting graduated from college and then got a job somewhere, and hopefully it was in the Philippines, but they always wanted more money, just like what you were saying with the doctors. So they're probably going to even go to the Middle East or to the United States, and there's like a brain drain. So what happened to our country, I'm not trying to have some kind of political arguments or whatever, but I was just hoping that there was some kind of another way that we can use up that effort. You know, it's just like, okay, you know, that's the fruit of all our OCW's, you know, sweat and blood, sweat and tears and whatever you call it, you know. I don't know, be nice. It's just like some thinking, you know. But I do understand the whole, what you call this, evolution of helping and stuff, and that's very admirable.
Actually, I'm a beneficiary of that. My brother entered the U.S. Navy, and so I was in college at the time, pre-med, and he helped me go to med school. So here I am now.
And you are giving to...
I'm giving back to my community and my family too. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What is that love that brings you here? Is it living your life every day, or is it that you see mostly Filipino community, or is it really everyone? Because I know you have a medical practice.
It's everyone, not only Filipinos, and I'm.
Can Claire and I be can we be a beneficiary? Or you're just kidding.
Well, actually, I'm also involved not only in the Filipino community, but I'm involved very actively in the church. And and as you know, religion is also very part of the Filipino culture, and that's where you meet a lot of Filipinos too.
Yes.
And so I've been involved with helping the community with some help from my friends like Lito. I set up a feeding program for the homeless. We feed them every second and last Friday of the month, and we're trying to get some people to cook because I wanted to do it every weekend, every week, every Friday, but nobody has come up with
has
it.
the time,
And
yeah.
this is St.
No, I
Michael's-
have the funds, but there's nobody to cook or so we only have 2 Fridays, and so that's how. Besides the scholarship that we do.
And how many people has to? I mean, are they cooking for how many people? That's what I.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's a big. The last Friday we had 86.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a minimum between 60 to 100.
And then this is free. You
This is-
go
oh, yeah,
there
with
when you're
your friend.
hungry. You eat there.
Yes,
And
we
then
did-
do you cook? I mean, do they cook Filipino food?
No. Well, they do. On the Filipino community, that's also the first Tuesday, and they cook adobo.
Mm.
Nice, lucky.
And my friends and I, who are not very good at, we cook chicken.
Show you chicken.
Yeah, and we cook.
Fried chicken.
We cook, yeah. Sometimes when we don't have like when most of my friends were gone.
Oh, there's another one. Chicken tinola. Now you get me started.
And
Okay.
so we have pizza if we don't have any. So we bring
That's a good one too.
So
You
I
don't have to
bought
cook
about
that.
13
Oh, you
boxes
still
of
have-
pizza. Yeah, you
okay.
don't have to cook it. So, but we really need to help those people. I know some people say, well, most of them are not homeless. They just want. I said,
Okay.
we
Yeah, I
don't-
was
That's
thinking
good.
86 people. Did they walk there, or were they bused there, or
They walk
were
there.
it's
That-
word of mouth? I mean,
Are you
Yeah.
sure that there's
No
no
cars.
Mercedes parked next?
No, because they have to sign up at it's part of the social ministry group of the church. So they have to sign, and also the SW. So they have to sign up. So maybe they have something, but we
And
never,
it's-
we never
And
question.
you know
It's
what?
all
It's
about
not
the
just the
love.
food too. It's just like seeing
Yeah, it's
everybody.
about
Seeing
love,
everybody,
and
So
sharing. And the contributions are from the church, or is it
From
from
us,
the
from me.
Filipino Association?
yeah, mostly from the three of us, Lito, myself, and Edgar, from the church. So.
And do you guys try to put like some kind of like donation box or something? I mean, since it's like a good ongoing social event
Yes,
for Filipinos.
At church, they have this, we call it social ministry, so you can give if you want. Because the church also has a food pantry once a month, I think. So they have those goods that they distribute to the homeless.
That's beautiful.
So
And that's every, what day again?
I think it's Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Can we
Fun.
go?
yeah. Yeah.
When we're hungry in one
You
of the
can
Tuesdays.
donate. We should definitely want to contribute to
We have a lot of Filipino organizations that do
Uh-huh.
that here in Hawaii, and I'm proud of to be part of it. So.
That's good. Okay, Dr. Genio, any last thing that you wanted to, any last message that you wanted to get out there to our Filipino kababayans?
Well, yes, I think I would like to see more participation of the Filipinos here in Hawaii, not only to support the community where they live in, but also try to remember the Filipinos in our home in the Philippines, so that we're able to share what good fortune we have here in Hawaii or in the mainland. So, and I'd like to do that. I like to see that more participation.
Yes, it would be wonderful to
Yeah,
see
that
that
would be really,
more
really
Filipinos be able to live freely here. You know, if we could get the way to make it more of a, easier for them to come and enjoy this aloha
Yeah.
that we have with the Filipino community.
Mm-hmm.
The Filipinos in Hawaii are one of the high-earning.
They're hard
Promoter.
workers.
They're hard
then,
workers.
yeah,
Hard
because
workers.
when you're happy,
Yeah.
you can do almost about everything.
And they
you
do a
know.
good job.
I was with a team that visited the Philippines with Governor Lingle at the time, and she told everyone that the highest ownership of home ownership of the Filipinos, and the American dream is being
I'll have
It's
to
being
research
realized
that, but that's
realized
exciting.
in Hawaii, and that's what
They
I
were
was
very smart. See, and that's what I know about them, is that they were very smart.
Yes.
The Japanese also were very smart in acquiring real estate, but the Filipinos, they were, because they had such a strong bond together as a family, that they
Yeah.
were powerful, and
Yeah.
so there's homes that have beautiful, pillars, and they're just, made very well, and that it's a, a sign of prosperity in their, living here in the island. So thank you for sharing that part.
Yeah, and that's good. This is our Kuleana, huh, Doctor?
Yes.
Our Kuleana, full of love and full
Yes.
of very hardworking Filipino.
My practice is accepting all insurance, including Medicaid, and I'm one of the only few doctors that do that here in Hawaii. And you can reach us at this number, 808-329-3588.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Genio.